It was a normal morning in Ouagadougou, the capital city of Burkina Faso. The sun was shining, the roads were busy, and children were walking to school. People were moving as usual. Some were selling food in the markets. Others were going to work. Then, something happened. Suddenly, phones started buzzing. Radios began to play the same message. People started talking in excitement. Burna Boy is coming to Burkina Faso. That name, Burna Boy, spread like wildfire. From the streets of the city to the small villages, everyone was talking about him. Burna Boy is one of the biggest music stars in Africa. He sings about real things. He sings about Africa. He has won big awards. Many young people love him. His music gives them hope. But the biggest surprise was not just that he was coming. The real shock was this. The concert was going to be free. Yes, free. No ticket. No payment. Everyone was welcome. The concert was planned to happen in a large open space in the city. Banners were already being printed. Music shops began playing Burna Boy songs on loudspeakers. Tailors started sewing new clothes for people to wear to the show. Young boys shouted, "I will see Burna Boy with my own eyes." Girls smiled and said, "This is a dream come true." Even the old people in the community were happy. One grandmother said, "Maybe I'm too old to dance, but it's good to see the young people happy." For a moment, it felt like everything in the country had changed. People forgot their problems. They forgot the hard times. There was joy in the air. But not everyone was smiling. At the presidential palace, President Ibrahim Traoré heard the same news. He stood by the window, looking outside. Soldiers walked past in silence. His face was calm, but serious. The president didn't speak right away. He listened. He read the reports. He looked at the situation of the country. His thoughts were deep. In the background, he could hear Burna Boy's song playing from a nearby radio. But his mind was somewhere else. He asked himself, "Is this the right time for a concert?" He loved music. He believed in joy. He was a man of the people. But he also knew the country was not at peace. Villages were being attacked by terrorists. Families were running from danger. Brave soldiers were dying every week to protect the land. The president asked again, "Will a concert help our people now? Or will it make them forget the real battle we are fighting?" As the city celebrated, President Traoré remained quiet. He knew he had a hard choice to make. The music was getting louder, but so was the truth in his heart. The next morning, everything would change. While the people of Ouagadougou were dancing and getting ready for Burna Boy's free concert, President Ibrahim Traoré was sitting in a quiet room with his advisors. There were no songs playing in the room. No one was smiling. The mood was serious. The president had many reports in front of him. Some were from the army. Others were from governors in the regions. All of them told the same truth. Burkina Faso is still in pain. In the north and east, people were running from their homes. Armed groups had attacked their villages. Crops were burned. Wells were poisoned. Schools were closed. Men, women, and children had lost everything. Some were hiding in the forests. Others were sleeping in tents, trying to stay alive. The president looked at photos of small children without shoes. He read stories of mothers crying for their sons who had joined the army and never came back. He stood up and said softly, "How can we celebrate while others are crying?" One of his generals spoke. "Our soldiers are still on the front lines. They are risking their lives every day." Another advisor added, "Some families don't even have enough food to eat." The president nodded. He was not against Burna Boy. He liked his music. He respected the message of African unity. But he also knew that the country was not ready for a big celebration. He looked out of the window again. The streets were loud. But the villages were silent. The people in the city were happy. But many others were still afraid. President Traoré sat down and whispered to himself, "This is not the time for dancing. This is the time for rebuilding." He knew that some people would be angry if he cancelled the concert. But as a leader, he had to think about the whole country, not just the city. He picked up his pen and began writing a short message. It was time to speak to the people. President Ibrahim Traoré sat at the large wooden table in his office. Around him were his closest advisors, generals, ministers, and elders. The room was quiet, but the air felt heavy. Everyone knew why they were there. The president had called the meeting to discuss the Burna Boy concert. The whole country was talking about it. Young people were excited. Social media was full of posts and countdowns. Everyone was preparing to sing and dance. But the president was not smiling. He looked at the people around him and asked, "Is this the right time for a concert?" No one answered at first. Then one minister, a younger man, spoke. "Mr. President, the people are suffering, yes. But this concert can give them joy. It can lift their spirits. Music brings hope." Another advisor, an older military man, shook his head. "Hope is good," he said. "But what message do we send to our soldiers on the front lines? They are fighting every day. Some have not seen their families in months." The room went silent again. The president listened. He respected both sides. He understood the people's hunger for joy, but he also knew the truth of the battlefield. Soldiers were dying. Villagers were hiding. Fear was still in the land. Then, a woman advisor spoke. She had worked for years helping families who lost everything. "Mr. President," she said gently, "I just came back from Kaya. I saw children sleeping on the ground. No food. No medicine. They don't even have clean water. Their mothers are crying. They don't need a concert. They need peace." President Traoré closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered his own village. He remembered growing up in the dust and heat. He remembered the smell of mango trees and the laughter of simple days. But now, Burkina Faso was not laughing. He stood up slowly and walked to the window. Outside, the city was moving fast. Shops were open. Cars were passing. Somewhere, he could hear Burna Boy's music playing on a radio. "If we allow this concert," the president said, "people will forget, even if just for a moment. They will dance. But what happens after the music ends? The pain is still here. The fight is not over." He turned and looked at everyone in the room. "I want music in my country," he said. "But not now. Not while we are still bleeding. We must heal first. Then we will dance." And with those words, he made the decision. The concert would be cancelled. It was a hard choice. He knew some people would be upset. He knew they might not understand. But he believed that true leadership meant doing what was right, not what was popular. He picked up the phone. "Call the organizers," he said. "We must speak to the people with honesty and respect." The news came fast. "The Burna Boy concert is cancelled," the headline said. At first, people didn't believe it. "No, it can't be true," some said. "Maybe it's just a rumor." But it was not a rumor. It was real. On the radio, a government spokesperson spoke clearly. "President Ibrahim Traoré has decided to cancel the free concert. He loves music, but right now, the country must focus on peace, safety, and unity." The message spread like fire. On every street, in every shop, in every house, people were talking about it. Many young people were upset. They had been waiting for this concert. They had bought new clothes. Some even borrowed money to travel to Ouagadougou just to see Burna Boy. A young man named Idrissa stood outside his school with his friends. "Why would the president do this?" he asked. "We don't get chances like this often. We just wanted to dance and forget our problems for one night." A group of young girls who loved Burna Boy's music sat quietly near a market stall. One of them, named Awa, wiped her tears. "I even made a sign that said, 'We love you, Burna Boy,'" she said. "Now it means nothing." Some people were angry. They said the president didn't care about joy. Others said the government was trying to control everything. But not everyone was upset. In the countryside, An old farmer named Baba listened to the news on his small radio. He nodded slowly. "The president is right," he said. "We are still in pain. Let us fix our country first. Music will come later." At a military base, a young soldier named Musa spoke to his team. "We are still fighting every day," he said. "If people are dancing in the city while we are risking our lives in the bush, how would that feel?" Even some young people who were first upset began to understand. A teenage girl named Fatimata posted online. "At first I was angry. But now I think, maybe it's not the right time to party. Maybe we need to stand together for something bigger." President Traoré's message continued to play on the air. "I love our youth. I love music. I love Africa. But we must protect our land first. Joy without peace is only noise. When peace comes, the music will be even sweeter." Slowly, hearts began to soften. People began to think deeply. Maybe this was not the end of fun, maybe it was the beginning of something more powerful: unity, purpose, and pride. After the news of the concert cancellation spread across Burkina Faso, people began to wonder one thing. What will Burna Boy say? Many were worried. Some thought he would be angry. Others thought he would never want to come to the country again. But President Ibrahim Traoré had already thought about that. He knew that Burna Boy was not just a singer, he was a voice for Africa. A brother. A leader in his own way. So the president wanted to speak to him with respect. He sat down with his advisors and wrote a special letter, a letter not full of politics, but full of truth. The letter began like this. "Dear brother Burna Boy, I greet you with peace and respect. We thank you for thinking of our people and offering to perform a free concert in our land. Your voice is powerful. Your music gives hope to millions. But right now, Burkina Faso is not ready to celebrate. Our soldiers are still fighting. Our villages are still healing. Our children are still waiting for peace. For that reason, I have chosen to cancel the concert, not out of rejection, but out of deep love and responsibility. When the time is right, we will welcome you with drums, with dance, and with open hearts." The letter was sent through official channels. It was also shared on the government's website and social media pages, so the people could read it too. Soon after, Burna Boy's team responded. They posted a simple message on his verified account. "We respect the decision of President Traoré. We love the people of Burkina Faso. Peace must come first. When your hearts are ready, we will be there to sing Africa together." That message went viral. People across Africa began sharing it. Many praised Burna Boy for his respect and understanding. Others praised the president for making a brave decision during difficult times. A famous journalist from Ghana tweeted, "Two African giants, one in music, one in leadership, showing the world how unity and wisdom work together." In Burkina Faso, people started to feel proud. Even those who were sad before now held their heads higher. One youth group in Ouagadougou made a painting. On one side, it showed Burna Boy holding a microphone. On the other side, it showed a soldier holding a flag. In the middle were the words, "We fight now. We sing later. Together for Burkina Faso." The president was moved by how the people responded. He smiled when he saw the painting. He told his team, "This is what real unity looks like. The concert may be cancelled, but the message is stronger than ever." Even in the refugee camps, people listened to the radio and smiled. They felt seen. They felt heard. They knew their pain mattered. And they knew one thing for sure. Burna Boy would still come, not now, but one day. And when he does, it will not just be a concert. It will be a celebration of victory. Days passed after the Burna Boy concert was cancelled. The loud excitement in the city became quiet. But something different began to grow. Something deeper. Something stronger. It was hope, not just the kind that comes with music, but the kind that comes from truth, unity, and sacrifice. In schools, teachers began to talk to students about what it means to love your country. They asked questions like, "Is happiness only about dancing? Can we build a strong country if we ignore those who are suffering? Many students started to think differently. Some who were once angry about the concert started to feel proud. They understood now. Peace is not a gift. It is something we must fight for. In the streets of Ouagadougou, something beautiful started happening. Instead of complaining, youth groups began organizing cleanup days. They swept markets. They fixed broken benches. Some even painted murals of soldiers, farmers, and nurses. They said, "If we can't dance now, we will work for the day we can." Music didn't disappear, but it changed. Local artists began writing songs not just about fun and love, but about courage, loyalty, and building the nation. One popular rap group released a new track called Not Now, But Soon. The lyrics said, "We don't party in the storm. We hold the line and keep it warm. We'll sing again when peace is near. With Burna Boy, we'll dance right here." That song became the new anthem of the youth. Not a song of sadness, but a song of promise. Meanwhile, in the rural villages, change was also happening. After hearing the president's speech, more young men and women joined the volunteer defense forces. They said, "If the president can say no to a big concert for us, we can give our hands to protect the land." One young man named Zachariah, only 19, said, "I was going to the concert. But now, I'm joining the fight for peace. That's the real show." President Traoré watched all of this quietly. He visited camps where displaced families lived. He sat on the ground with children, listening to their dreams. In one village, an old woman held his hand and said, "You have made a hard choice, but a good one. Our sons are dying. You reminded us we are not forgotten." The president replied, "We will all dance again. But first, we must stand together." He also began supporting local artists who were using their voices for good. He met with young musicians and told them, "Use your music like a torch. Let it light the path, not distract from it. Your voices are powerful, don't waste them." More youth began writing poems, creating short films, and making art about what it means to be strong in hard times. Across the country, a spirit of unity began to rise. Not because of a song, but because of a shared dream. A Burkina Faso that is free, peaceful, and proud. And so, without music festivals, without celebrity visits, and without loud celebrations, the nation began to rebuild from the inside out. The people were no longer just waiting for Burna Boy. They were preparing for the day when the music would return to a country that had truly earned its peace. President Traoré stood under a tree with the people and said, "One day, there will be music in every street. Burna Boy will come. There will be dancing, peace, and joy. But that day will come after we win this fight for our future." Everyone clapped. They knew it was the right choice. Sometimes, a true leader must say not now, not because he is against joy, but because he is fighting for a better tomorrow.